Hello and welcome to day one of week 2 of split 2 of the 2020 OPL. I'm your host Nick Boy Richardson, and oh my goodness, Spawn, you have no hair.
Yeah, like I'm actually. So we were talking about it last week, and Zach and I have got the exact same jacket on, so this is why you do rehearsals.
I got backups as well.
So we're just going to do that one real quick.
No. Copy, paste,
So as I was going to say, yeah, I was super embarrassed by the introduction that was taken the other day. So I was like, you know what? Stuff this balding thing. I'm just going to be proactive about it. I'm going to go shave my head.
You're beautiful, mate. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Thanks, Kimmy.
Look, I've got your back, bro. You know, sometimes starter guidings don't work, but you are a star to me.
Oh, my goodness. Do you know that they have Nurse Seraph's embrace in TFT?
Yeah, it's rough. She's rough.
Oh,
gets the free star, gets the double buff, doesn't happen. Unlucky.
That was actually so tilting, man. That was a top 4 finish right there. Nico's gift on my Syndra, new blue buff off Carousel. It was all bloody lining up for old Spawner. And
You're learning all sorts of stuff tonight about TFT. Rusty, congratulations. Now with Spawn's new haircut and just the t-shirt, you're not the only buff one on the broadcast.
No, he looks very buff when he's got no hair on his head. I think it actually adds
adds muscle to the arms. I don't understand how that works.
Do you know I've lost 8 kilos since isolation?
I've got you beat because I've lost 12, but that's still very impressive. But I haven't put on any muscle.
12 kilos? That's insane, dude. Congratulations. That's awesome, because I know that you started counting your calories.
I did. It worked. Who would have thought that if you just ate less food than you burned, then you would lose weight? And all these years I've been committing to 2 weeks of exercise and then not doing it. So, Rusty, that was mainly thanks to you and Spawn. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there was a lot of backstage conversations when we were allowed to be near each other, Nick. There was also a lot of walking that was happening during that, so you've managed to do well to continue it without that, getting to and from work.
There you go. I'm just so hungry. No, I'm fine. Skimmy, how are you?
I'm good, mate. You know what? I'm just sitting here still waiting to get buffed. So, I'm going to keep my arms down here off screen, and we'll move on, Nick.
You've neither lost weight nor gained weight. You've been perfectly
I'm pretty
neutral.
sure I have lost weight. I'm pretty sure since I've moved over here, living on your own again, it's pretty chill. You're not eating as much. You're not going outside. It's pretty chill. My diet is gaming. I just want to play games.
I'll unban you, Spawn. I'll unban you.
I got banned.
I just see Spawn the caster got deleted by a mod. And
Okay, so apparently all exclamation marks are bad, because I put exclamation mark calorie counter, and it just is gone instantly, and I've been banned.
It's banned him again. We've derailed the stream.
I'm going to 577 timeout.
Jesus.
Because we want to set a good example. Be the change you want to see in Twitch chat, Spawn. Jeez. Come on. We are back with another weekend of League of Legends action. Very excited to be back. Let's take a look at the games that we will be playing. And when I say we, I don't mean we. We will be playing some games. That game will be Valorant at the end of the stream in the MPL. But before we get to Valorant, we got some League of Legends for you. It's the Chiefs versus AV for game number 1, Legacy taking on Gravitas for game 2, Direwolves v Mammoth for game 3, and rounding out the Eve, Order and Pentanet, game 4. Gentlemen, exclaim your bangers!
Well, just to remind people, right, there are 3 teams in the OPL that are currently undefeated. They are Legacy, of course, but then Pentanet.gg, as well as Avant Gaming, all haven't dropped a game, and I think a couple of those teams people would be surprised by. Then on the flip side, you have to look at someone like the Direwolves, and they haven't picked up a win yet. So I think that this week is going to be all bangers, in fact, Nick. But if I was going to go with a game, Avant versus Chiefs, because the Chiefs got upset by Pentanet.gg, then bounced back really well. Avant Gaming, they were kind of the wild card coming into week 1, I would say. People probably didn't think they were going to do that well, and yet they really shone with Paprise in the top lane.
Yeah, I'd be looking at the fourth game personally, and it's for the Pentanet.gg reasons. I'm not just picking an order game every single week. They're going to go 1-1. We don't know if they'll win or lose this one. I'm looking at the undefeated team on the other side and how they'll be able to perform. I know that if you are on socials, there's been smack talk. I was thinking about this game before I saw that as well. I actually am excited to see if they can find consistency.
Yeah. I think the first and fourth have to be the highlights based on the fact that, they come in with such a solid week one. They open up their account with a degree of consistency and sort of form that we kind of expected to see in Split 1, but now they've sort of brought it through that off-season. They've come in here, they've showcased that. We're pretty disgusting, especially Avant. They just bust out the Caitlyn, win every single lane, don't show any signs of losing it from laning phase into the mid-game, and we've got like Caitlyn's like 2 tapping 80 carries. It was pretty gross. I'm pretty sure myself and Spawn were casting one of those games, and we were just in disbelief. I think it was like silence. We just let the art speak for itself.
Especially because it was against Direwolves, and their bottom lane had been so impressive, right? And yet this Caitlyn lane just completely ran over the Direwolves bottom lane. It was not close.
And to get Skimmy to be speechless, I mean, that's a hell of a feat.
It's hard. It really is.
Even sitting in the Discord before the broadcast even started, Skimmy has excited conversations with people who aren't even in the Discord with us.
Look, I'm just laughing at what I see on my Twitter feed, and then, if the guys want to tune in and, join in that conversation, they're welcome to. I'm just trying to get the energy flowing. I see Spawn having 4 coffees. I'm having 1. I've only had half my coffee, and I'm already bouncing off the wall. That just shows the difference between, I guess, our caffeine tolerance. I'm not too sure.
Are you one of those people, do you talk... So my mother-in-law talks to the television when things happen in a show. She'll like talk to the characters and go like, "Oh no," and "Oh my goodness, what are you doing?"
I've never been like that. No,
that's not you.
I feel like that's a little bit strange.
I
feel like that is a little bit strange. I've never done that. I'm always. I will say when I'm watching sport, I get super invested in that, and I will have those sort of weird moments. But definitely when it comes to I don't know, reality TV or whatever else is on TV these days. Who knows? I don't watch.
Reality TV?
Who watches TV? Who watches TV? It's all about streaming services and Twitch and whatnot now, isn't it?
That's TV. That all counts as TV. TV is a catch-all
I hate
term.
people like you that are like,
TV's
I don't
so
watch
boring.
TV. I just binge watch 15 hours of Netflix every day.
Am I going to sit here
That's
with my
not
little
television.
TV guide and be like, "Oh, Sheila, it's 3 p.m. Time to tune into I don't know, Shortland Street or something"? Who cares?
What are you
mate?
watching it
Move
on? You watch it on a television.
No, I'm watching it on Netflix, mate. We get straight in there. I want to see 15 episodes back to back. I want to lay in bed and be quarantined, Nick.
Oh, so triggered right now. So triggered. I just saw in chat that I like that someone said, I love how 3 of them have headsets and Nick is using iPad earbuds. Mate, I will wear a headset when someone pays me to wear a headset. I'm not putting on that big chunky thing and wrecking up my cockatoo hair for nothing.
Someone has paid us to wear a headset. What are you talking about?
But I don't wear that. I don't wear that yet. I've been told to hold off on wearing that. There's going to be some reveal of me wearing that. Who knows what's going on? All right, it's time to jump into game number 1. Before we do that, we have to have a big thanks to another one of our sponsors, NeoSurf. Thank you so much to NeoSurf. Thanks to NeoSurf, you can be a part of the OPL, which I know is something you've always wanted to do. And at the same time, you can win yourself a $500 NeoSurf voucher to use in the League of Legends store. All you have to do is take a video of yourself joining that embarrassing call at the beginning of the show. It was so embarrassing, it caused Spawn to shave his head. Then you just follow OPL and NeoSurf Esports on Twitter. Share the video using hashtag NeoSurfWin. You've got until week 3 of the OPL to get your entries in. We'll be judging them. We'll give them all to Skimmy. Skimmy will talk at them, watch them on something that isn't a television, and then we'll decide which ones we like the most. Full terms and conditions are on watch.lollysports.com, and while the first prize is a $500 NeoSurf voucher, we will be awarding 5 runners-up with a $100 NeoSurf voucher, all for use in the League of Legends store. Big thanks to our partner, NeoSurf, the only solution that lets you pay in cash online to thousands of websites, including League of Legends. I don't know if the winner is the only one who gets in the opening, or if the runners-up do as well. I don't know if the runners-up, I assume they do as well.
They can have my tile. One of the runners-up can have
I was
going
to say, I feel like the real controversy is the people who will be booted from the call to make way for the scum.
There's two kinds of intros in the OPL. There's like the intro that you do as a temporary intro until like some sick highlight plays happen and you can weave that together. And then there's the intro that stays forever. I was really hoping that this was the, former, but it turns out it is most definitely the latter. This is going to be here for years to come, and I hate it.
It is going to be here for years to come. Something else that's going to be here for years to come is the Chiefs. They've had a bit of a rocky start to their split, but they're looking to get back on track in Game 1 against Avant. Let's see how that turns out as we jump into game number 1 for the evening. Chiefs versus Avant, and the Macca's Champ Select.
Blue is the colour and League of Legends is the game right here. Spawn is Avant taking on the Chiefs, a game which has, well, pretty serious implications, you'd imagine. We got to see really how strong Avant were coming out the gates there. Chaz, quite honestly, having the debut of his life for a brand new start. And, Chiefs changing things around a little bit. Unfortunately, Career CK can't be with them right now. So Drag, who comes into the mix, he's going to add his own charisma, characteristics, whatever you want to call it, to that bot lane. And they'll be looking to bank on that to get success here in week 2.
Yeah, and when you see kind of the lineups, once again, I just want to note that it is Violet that is playing in the AD carry position against the top 3 team. Because we were used to that being Gunkrab the whole of last split, Skimmy, but this time around... And that's the discussion
we had, right, was what is the reasoning behind, be it Violet or Gunkrab coming in, and it seems to be, as we're seeing now, as you say, Violet coming in for these bigger matches.
Yeah, and this is very interesting because I think it was me and you that started the conversation last week that no one really prioritized Senna in the OPL apart from Order. I don't think anyone else even played Senna, farming support. A lot of people played Senna support, like, just by herself, but, like, this Senna that doesn't take any gold and allows a tank to farm up was kind of an Order-specific strategy. But it looks like a lot of people went away over the break and actually now are looking to implement that into their game plan because we see again that Senna is going to be the first pick and Violet and Appy now may be looking to play that feasting Senna lane.
Well, that seems to be the case as they've drafted the Senna Maokai, which is what Chiefs actually played in their opening match against Pentanet.gg, the variation, if you will, where Tom Kench is taken off the board, and this is becoming a bit more of a namestay, a preference, if you will. Combine that with the Wukong as well, which also got off to a flying start, dominated so much when those team fights came online, and the ability to lock down areas of the map. It's going to be Katsuri that once again gets the Ezreal, loves this champion so much, and is willing to take it whenever the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and that's interesting to me, right? Because Ezreal as a champion is really highly prioritized in the LPL, but I feel like everywhere else in the world, it is just going to be seen as a weak laner if you cannot pair it with something like the Karma. Now, obviously, Yuumi is still available. Yuumi is something that when you put it on, Graves is also a really good champion, so maybe they take the farming Maokai lane and actually just play something incredibly passive into it, maybe try and play towards Theon's top side of the map. Could certainly be an option, Skimmy. But the Chiefs have kind of a good mid-game comp at the moment. Graves as well as Syndra Ezreal is quite intimidating. But I am very surprised that Trundle has gone through this draft untouched. When as soon as you see Senna, you can nearly guarantee that they have to play at least one tank with it, which just shoots Trundle through the roof in priority, in my opinion.
And it is interesting in the same notion that for week 1, that was every single time the ban that the Chiefs went for. 100% of the time it was, get rid of the Trundle, it's so insanely strong right now, but the Trundle and the Graves have this massive affinity of just being easy blind pick junglers that just can find multiple lanes of value, and as you say, it's going to almost be warranted that your opponent is going to want to tank. That only facilitates it further. So interesting to see what they have gone for. They have actually put their priority towards Chaz, and why wouldn't you? I mean, the guy had a standout performance on the Echo last week, getting multiple doubles, triples, and all the rest of it. I think he finished that game 9-0. So make sure that you come into a new week and make sure that he can flex around in other departments.
Yeah, and I agree that Echo pick is really good to get rid of when Chaz is in the game. There's a couple of Echo players within the OPL, and it's got a really great matchup into Syndra. The Orianna is a little bit more strange to me because I think that's to mitigate the Wombo combo a little bit more, Skimmy.
Yeah.
Just because I don't really see Orianna as a good response to Syndra. In fact, a lot of people pick Syndra into Orianna. So I think that has to be a little bit more compositionally. And this would be the pivot.
Well, there you go.
Ooh.
This is a spanner in the works, right? You imagine it's going to be the fasting center, but we have seen them. Their very first game, they went for the center Caitlyn as opposed to the Karma Caitlyn. They're going to bust out the Talia again, and we saw once again how much that did for them on the set off, finding such a lead in the early stages of the game, forcing those map splits, blocking off the rotations from mid to bot, for instance, and just basically saying, you're held to ransom.
What's jungling now? Because we assumed it was Maokai support,
yes,
Wukong top lane. But now,
we imagine it's Wukong jungle now, right?
It has to be, well, I play Maokai jungle, and it does farm quite quickly.
Yeah.
But I'm going to assume it's not Maokai jungle, because only I play it. So it has to be Wukong.
It is interesting, though, because I remember when the first rework came out, we were a little bit vocal on you want to have the Wukong in the top lane so he can get as many resources as possible, because he feels very empowered once he's got those few items online. If he's playing jungle, it was a little bit lackluster, so I'm curious to see how they play around this.
Yeah, I can see Rusty in chat. He rates the tree jungle over the Wukong jungle as well. I would expect Wukong to have a much better lane versus Kayle also, but at 20 seconds, they have not swapped, so it looks like it is going, as my microphone is just peeking out, like, over and over again.
You're getting too excited. You need to calm down.
I need to calm down,
coffees,
apparently.
Man.
Yeah,
Far
apparently.
too many coffees.
Tell you what,
well,
mate,
we are going
like
to get the...
have a kip.
I saw your tweet before about, hey, how can I get re-energized? Look, maybe have a fifth coffee, who knows?
Maybe.
I tell you who will want that fifth coffee is a Kayle. They're going to definitely be power scaling, going absolutely insane. An easy target for Draku to then couple onto. I'm actually really excited to see Draku play this evening, because I know in week 1 he was posting on Twitter, he's like, you know, these alpha Chad, like, world strongmen photos, like, yeah, insta-lock me to Yuumi. So getting to see what he can do in this pick here. Combined, obviously, with the affinity that Katsu just loves going this Ezreal. Hopefully they have a solid laning phase. It's going to be rough given what they're going into, but if they can get out of that into the mid stage, we know how explosive the Chiefs can be.
I don't think you can get out of that laning phase. So Senna beats Yuumi already, because Senna is like the only support, I think, in the whole game that can build first item heal cut skin.
Yeah.
She just goes back with 900 gold, buys heal cut, lane over. Caitlyn outranges both, going to have superior wave clear. So I think that Avant have really scouted this nicely. They've kind of baited them into thinking it was, you know, feasting, fasting Senna, and now they've kind of flipped the script. I think the only area they have actually lost out of is top lane. So unless Thien pops off, this is going to be quite difficult.
Well, let's see exactly what the game plan is today. Week number 2 of the OPL as Avant, undefeated, take on the Chiefs. Both finding pocket picks, both finding favor. But will the pivot in the draft be enough to upset the Chiefs here in game 1?
And I'm interested in this Wukong jungle, Skimmy. Because Wukong, much like Graves, gets a heck of a lot of armor when he starts skirmishing. And I expect them to be quite interactive with each other. I think Graves will farm slightly quicker. But Wukong's skirmishes, especially at level 6, probably unrivaled, Skimmy. He's got double knock up there, he's got double gap close, attack speed steroid, as well as extended range on his auto attack. He is quite a loaded champion, and I think people hadn't figured out how to lane with him or how to jungle him well outside of China, and I'm interested to see now whether that has changed.
Well, we got the case study on full display here today. It's going to be a tall order, however, going into Croc, who's no slouch to the jungle. And especially when he's played Graves, has been known to 1v9 and bring his team back from the brink of death. So excited to see how he looks to try and cater to his team, given the sense that you want to make sure that the Kayle is going to be able to get themselves into that formidable situation. There's been an absolute lane terror, not to mention side lane threat. But how do they assist this bot lane? You speak about all the conditions that just make what Avant have so oppressive. Is that where Croc decides to go?
I mean, the short answer is I don't think you do, right? They're going to get level 2 shoved in. It's probably going to be 4 creeps crashing, which is nearly maximum amount of creeps. And you can see they're not even hard pushing this wave. That's like... this lane is already as oppressive as a lane can be, Skimmy.
It sure is.
And the thing for Yuumi, which I think a lot of people forget, is sure she's a heal bot, right? But you need to actually be able to auto-attack to get mana back to be able to continue to heal. And who does she auto-attack in this lane? She's playing against the highest range support and the highest range AD carry in the game. That just sounds like a nightmare.
And it's rough because, as you say, it gives you the mana back, but it also gives you that mitigation with the shield proc as well, which can actually, in the middle of a team fight or even a skirmish, can be actually invaluable in terms of what it brings. So incredibly rough situation for them. They have obviously gone for the very defensive-orientated summoner spells here with the barrier, exhaust, and nihil. No ignite. Just looking to make sure that they can survive and make sure that if they are vulnerable to any diving ganks that may come their way, that isn't to be the case. Because Avant, based on the fact that they've drafted Caitlyn every single game to open up this new split, have always been the ones to get the very first tower down.
And very interesting that they didn't take an Ignite in the current competition, because when you have a look at what Ignite is going to do, really shut down Appy's game plan, as well as Paprise. Paprise is going to heal a lot in these team fights, Skimmy. So I think like this is heavily towards the laning phase for the Chiefs bottom lane, and you can see it's already not going well. So, I mean, we got to keep an eye on this mid game, because once again, the champions look better on the right-hand side of the screen in the mid game, but that's only if they come out even. And I just don't see a way in this game that you can ever keep an Ezreal Yuumi lane even. It just seems so difficult.
Especially not when Violet continues to take teleport here on Caitlyn, able just to smash out that lane and come back as if nothing ever changed.
Did you see it, Skimmy? You just
I did
missed
not.
all 3 creeps. Just uncontested, just did not last hit them.
I'm glad I forewent my segue into highlighting how great Paprise was to open up his account last week, right? The fact that he came in with the Mordekaiser game 1, absolutely destroyed it. In game 2 with the Ornn,
the Ornn
how
was
many
awesome.
like 4-man knockups did he get? It was absolutely smurfed. So,
and not only that, I've never seen people play the way he played Ornn into that Trundle, because he just kept breaking the pillar next to the AD carry. And it actually made Ornn look really good into Trundle. Every single time Trundle pillared out trying to cut off the AD carry, he would just headbutt the pillar, play max range, play for ult, play for knockup, play for heavy PL, as opposed to diving. And it actually didn't make the the Trundle matchup look all that bad.
well, we'll forget about those few CS minions that were missed there. It's not going to be obviously the defining factor here for him, but he's going to want to keep Tien in check. Tien obviously known for his aggressive nature. Will want to be punching on. We saw that at least last split, Legacy showed it on a few different occasions how proficient Akao can be and how annoying it can be. And Tien's been very much known to be that side lane split pusher, always looking to extract as much value as possible if things are going south elsewhere.
Yeah, he's a big scaling top laner at the moment, Tien, isn't he? I think that when he first came into the league... Oh, hold the phone.
Well, that's Violet TPing back in with a BS sword, mind you. Instantly rocks up, gives Katsuri a big chunk, but actually receives it just back as well. As Lisa goes hunting now, both junglers level 5. Going to use the Blast Cone to, well, basically dash nowhere. And there will be no biff. They want to get level 6.
Are you surprised, Skimmy, that the Wukong is the exact same farm as the Graves? Because I'm a little bit surprised by that.
Yeah.
I feel like Graves should farm faster.
I don't know how much faster. I feel like Wukong is definitely up there, but I would have thought maybe a few more camps.
Yeah. It's just a little bit interesting, right? Because with this bottom lane priority, obviously Lisa's going to have access to the dragon if he wants to go towards it. He's going to pick himself up this bottom scuttle crab as well. And it's just like, even the areas where I thought they would have advantages. I thought, jungle mid in particular would be very far ahead. Claire's done a fairly good job in his one-on-one. But jungle, actually behind. And Avant Gaming, with, in my opinion, just a very, very good fighting comp, are going to be hard to stop from this situation. You can see they're going to lose another turret plate here. And there's no reason, after this turret plate goes down, that Violet and Appy can't just back, go towards top side of Summoner's Rift, play for a Rift Herald in a minute, and actually start taking down Theon's turret as well. I think that the Maokai going to 2v1 much better than what Akela is going to be at.
You can see from the stats to start off their new campaign here that Avant have been absolutely smashing it when it comes to objective control. As you say, a lot of it is in part to the amount of priority they have on this map that just gives Lisa free reign really to do whatever he does please. And that starts off with a dragon here. We may see what tends to be the traditional 8-minute flip, but we may not, given the set that they can continue to bully down bot lane, get as many of those turret plates as quickly as possible, maybe look to actually take the turret as a full control too, and accelerate this Caitlyn even further than what the 20 CS mark represents already here.
Yeah, and can they just leave the Caitlyn 1v1? Because that's what's happening at the moment, right? They've left Caitlyn 1v2 into the lane, still getting pushed, still looks completely fine. Not getting bullied at all, was full health, full mana. And we're just kind of watching Croc farm away from that portion of the map, Skimmy. He's starting to get a little bit quicker now, but you can see that Lisa will be able to catch back up with the bottom side camps. And off that level 6 that he's now picked up, does have a serious dive threat now on this bottom lane. In fact, with Chaz's ultimate as well, why would they not just go for it right now?
They could full collapse if they do need be. And I'm curious, Spawn, what build Violet goes for. We saw him use the Storm Razor last time around, giving a lot of range, a lot of ability to lock down members in place. And, you know, you look at the engage potential right now here from Chiefs. What are you really banking on? A stun from Claire or a final chapter coming out of this Yumi to start the fight?
Yeah, really what you're hoping for is that you put like double ultimates on Croc and he just runs in there and makes it spicy, right? He's a person who has to get the action started. Is that the best game plan? Probably not, Skimmy. There are probably better ways to start a fight, like with a Maokai ultimate or something like that. But like the honesty is that they have picked more for the mid game and the more individual power as opposed to CC, right? So that's what you have to be able to utilize. The Chiefs have won with these comps in the past.
Yes.
Just the danger is how do you get onto this Caitlyn that is going to be so accelerated? As you mentioned, Storm Razor. It was played against Vital when Vital actually went the Ezreal as well. I really like Storm Razor into Ezreal because it's like soft CC, but it allows people to try and catch up and track him down in that long chase. And, look how hard it is to be grabbed through right now.
So much damage right now. They split apart, but now they find their target. They go on towards Abby. Final chapter, as well as True Shot Barrage. Every summoner burnt here, except for the flash on the Ezreal, to try and find an advantage. It nets them nothing at this stage. Now Croc has looked to try and find some value elsewhere on this map. He's going to go top side, go for this Rift Herald. Has the protection given that TN is there. And he's pushing things in, as well as Claire available for the rotation. As you can see now, Chaz.
Got to book it.
He's going to form that collapse right now. They're banking on this flash. That's the shift, that's the flash. He sidesteps the knockback, but it won't mean nothing. As Avant get the ball rolling with first blood.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Avant Gaming. We said that whenever they want, they can go dive this bottom lane. Why did they pick that timing, Skimmy? Because they knew that Croc was on the Rift Herald. They had perfect information of exactly where he is. They, however, will lose a lot of damage on this turret. I think Croc could have actually taken the turret if he had dropped this slightly late. There is going to be a full plate here that they have to try and get through. And because of the armor buffs to these turrets, I don't think they're going to be able to, Skimmy, by the time the rest of the team showed up. But that could have been a turret trade for a turret trade right there. I think Croc just stuffed it up a little bit.
Would have been best case scenario, but unfortunately they are unable to find it there, and the punishment potential is so real. Avant having the intuition to say, you've burnt all your summoners, you haven't been able to find that initial pick that you wanted. Now we're to capitalize on it, find that first blood, get that gold online, in particular to Chaz, who's in, once again, red hot fire form, and get the first tower again.
And this is just unbelievably difficult circumstances to play League of Legends now. Your turret still is up and available if you're in Avant Gaming. You've got an IE to a pickaxe in terms of damage stats in the 80 carries. You can see Katsuru without summoner spells is now having to lean into a mid laner, Skimmy, because Claire isn't going to the side lane. Oh, this is brutally rough.
And that 2-item power spike then Ezreal's looking to get, which is typically, you know, you're talking a cheaper build. It feels like that moment in time, the opportunity has definitely diminished right now. I'd love to see the goal comparison between the two AD carries. I'm sure, given the fact he's got so many of these plates online, he must be a mega chunk ahead.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree, and they're going to get themselves a second dragon as well. The worst case scenario for Avant Gaming would be this is an air soul, because that will lend them next to nothing. However, if this is going to be a fire soul in the game, as we'll see what sweeps over Summoner's Rift. Inferno does blaze. Well, there you go. That's probably best soul they can get, because Caitlyn going to run off the people with double energizers and just pop them.
Another attempt here by the Chiefs as Claire pops the full combo. Violet gets the clutch heal as the team rotate through from bot to here. True Shot Barrage goes hunting, but the sidestepping is not going to be caught out here today. And you can see that they are trying so desperately to find it, but he's very elusive to the Grim Reaper.
But they're finally starting to fight back in really key areas. You can see Croc has now extended ECS by about 20. They're getting good damage down on that mid lane turret. In fact, they forced the teleport out of Violet as he comes back onto Summoner's Rift. And they've had control of this mid lane, which has allowed Thean to push out top. He's now also 30 CS up. Skimmy, about to tick over to level 11. So key areas of the Chiefs' comps now are back online. This Ezreal going to be useless for a very long time. Don't expect Katsuri to play a major role in the rest of this game, but the 3 members of the Chiefs top side very much in a position to be able to take over.
And that's what you wanted to see. You wanted to see that Tien would get himself online. It's a fantastic situation, a fantastic spot, really, more than anything, for a Kale to be this early on into things. Only going to keep to grow from here as level 10 will soon become 11. But Avant showcasing once again the amount of control they have in this bottom section of the map. Seismic shove displaces Croc out of nowhere. The final chapter will mean absolutely nothing as the blue buff once again from the enemy side goes across to Chaz.
And I feel like people haven't played against Talia in a very long time. Because that was a very late flash, right? As soon as you get CC'd in front of a Talia, you have to flash skin.
I'm pretty sure Avant are the only team that I've ever played in the OPL this year.
Yeah, and yeah, I think you're right. It is played a little bit in solo queue, but she does a lot of damage just off base stats, right? So as soon as that CC lands, I think Proc honestly just has to flash. I don't know if there's anything that can be done to keep him alive there. There was an ignite down, so all of the healing going to be reduced. And the full combo hits. There's no wall to be able to save him. That's just very well played. Paprise in the top lane.
That's a lot of damage.
Down.
Has to pop the ultimate, form some disengage. He's going to be very content with that one. Going to fault their plans as to any interaction that he may be able to present if a team fight were to break out and a TP required.
So a very interesting game so far, Skimmy. Good news for Avant gaming fans is they're the real deal. Like, if they're able to do this against the Chiefs, they've already been able to pick up wins. You know, double wins in the first week, one against the Direwolves. Now against the Chiefs, they look just as good. Similar strategy, but with a couple of changes in the picks. You know, the Wukong as well as the top lane Maokai coming out. So I just think he does a lot of damage.
He hurts. The Gunblade is well and truly online here. I suppose we haven't really had a fair representation of what the Wukong jungle really brings to the table. We've yet to see those skirmishes or those ganks necessary to understand. Definitely went toe-to-toe with Croc in the initial part of this game, but Nana Graves is for sure pulling far, far away.
And I think he needed to probably have more of an impact in the top lane. I mentioned that Wukong would be a really great laner into the KO. One thing that Maokai does provide is just that hard lockdown CC. So if you have any way of being able to dash onto the KO, definitely, in my eyes, should have been some kills up there in the top lane. I think he played pretty heavily around Violet, and that is a non-interactive lane, right? So you can probably credit the fact that Violet still is up all of this CS to kind of the proximity to Lisa throughout the early mid stages of the game. He's also got himself, you know, 2 dragons on the bottom side of Summoner's Rift. But this Kayle is strong enough to be able to carry. Like, the game is still only 1,000 gold. And whilst Avant are showing that they're definitely the real deal...
There it is. That's what Claire been so patiently waiting for this one.
Big strengths on the side of the Chiefs still.
They'll take those. Claire needs something to try and match the power that Chaz has online right now. That's well and truly one of the key components to start the ball. Or to get the ball running, as they say, turn a step into a walk into a run, if I remember correctly.
I think that's what we're going with. And Lisa's going to lose even more of his jungle here. Because what's happened is that they've now split the map again with Appy going down. And you can see that Croc is just ignoring the neutral objectives and just running straight into his jungle and trying to farm up a storm. He's now 40 CS up. And that is just going to start to really play on Lisa's mind. Because, you know, you can fall a level down if you're a good team fighter like a Wukong. But at what stage does this become 2 levels, 3 levels, you know, potentially an item as well? Ooh, flash burn.
That time the flash came out. Claire was not taking any chances and was going to fall victim to the way that Croc felt only moments before. But this is the pressure that keeps mounting here from Avant. I mentioned before, they have fantastic objective control. Second herald goes their way and they're going to get 2 headbutts off of basically just breaking through mid completely.
Flash there from Appy though. Does not want to be caught out of position. Now with the rest of the members split,
down goes the wall. They try and lock in place Claire and Tien on the rotation as they group up for our first initial 5v5 of this game, only 17 minutes in.
They don't feel like they can fight, Skimmy.
They're hesitant, I'll tell you that much. And especially without the ultimates from their bot duo. Final chapter seems to be a key component of what's required to find that pick.
But the Chiefs kind of bullied them out there, right? They use the ultimates to chase them off mid lane wave. They then go collect the Herald. and Avant don't feel like they can re-enter that side of Summoner's Rift. They're still 1,000 gold up. They do have 3 turrets to only 1. But this Caitlyn has stalled, has fallen into the trough. You thought maybe far enough ahead that it wasn't going to happen. But you can see well and truly now has slowed down until the second Zeal item is going to come in. So Violet needs to be able to play these next couple of moments safe. Appy had to burn Flash there as well. So there is certainly pick potential for Claire on Summoner's Rift. And Katsuri does this every now and again. He's just going to slowly go about his business of farming up, playing this side lane Ezreal, and trying to get himself back in the game.
Playing with fire, though. Every single time you see that shove come down, you get a little bit angsty as to how much damage Chaz actually has in his arsenal right now and actually what it could mean. You can see that he's still so desperate to get some of these core items online. He wants that Muramana upgrade. He wants to get that Frozen Gauntlet. He wants that blue Ezreal in full control. The soft CC, the ability to then not be fully reliant on Claire's activatables.
But at least Katsuri can catch the side lane. If you have a look at what's happening on the other side of Summoner's Rift, Paprise is just getting destroyed under his turret whenever he tries to catch the side lane. So even though it does look a little bit bad for Katsuri right now, it is a whole lot worse for Paprise. Although Katsuri now might have really overstayed the welcome.
Hold that fault. That's one headshot. That's a spin to win underneath his tower right now. Teleport is coming on in! Oh, Senna tried to get the steal. But he's unable to find it. Gets an assist, however. And that's another kill in Violet's pocket. Really showcasing how far accelerated he is in this game. And yeah, you turn your attention once again to really what can Tien do to continue to scale up here as he now just takes level 13.
When I was a newcaster in the scene, Skimmy, I used to say all the time, I thought I was really smart. I used to say, the one thing you can't buy in League of Legends, hold it more, Claire in trouble.
He is in trouble. The entire team showed up and said, well, you've tried once, you've tried a second time, that tower belongs to us. Now 4 turrets to 1.
Is Croc going to go for this? He is quite strong.
Got the Phage, as well as the Phase Rush, so plenty of mobility, especially when coupled with the Dragku Yumi, but is going to disengage after cycling through his entire kit.
And now it's close to, 2,500, 3,000 gold, Skimmy, and this is starting to stack up. You can see that Caitlyn, farming at the clock still, has 1 kill now off the back end of that. 3 kills coming across for Talia, who's honestly so far accelerated, it's not even funny, is pretty much a full item ahead of Claire at this stage, and Claire was laning incredibly well. And what I was going to mention is range in League of Legends is so crucially important, Skimmy. If everyone gets to 6 items, it's things like mobility and range and like how you actually have to play out these team fights. And I'm looking at the members of the Chiefs, and I think if they get to swarm the Avant Gaming lineup, if they are able to really close the distance and get in short range, they're going to have a good time. But if Talia and Caitlyn can keep you at maximum range, and how do they do that, right? With, Wukong knockups, with Paprise's ultimate, with the snare from the Maokai. I just don't know if you can kill these 2 carries with the tools that are available. And I think Thean's dead.
Look how Avant are just going from lane to lane, forgoing all their CS. They don't care. They know they have the items that are required to do damage. They are shutting down any kind of comeback conditions. It's absolutely insane. Paprise now being shown a little bit of love and picks up his first kill. And a little bit of reprieve here. Chiefs need to find a turret in this mid lane.
Katsuri.
But Katsuri has played so aggressively right now. The exhaust comes out. Croc diving underneath the tower with the Black Cleaver. We'll have that shred. We'll get disengaged away. Out comes the ult. The shutdown is there. And that is the first kill Chaz has suffered this entire split. His KDA before that was 19-0-16. Absolutely insane.
And he nearly played that flawlessly, Skimmy. He had a stopwatch, I think. He maybe could have survived there if he had have read the damage just a little bit better. But that was really well played from Chaz. Credit to Croc for being able to pick up the shutdown. He is the win condition now. I said, 1 level, acceptable. Now he's 2 levels ahead. He's 70 CS up. He's pretty much farming as if he's an 80 carry at this stage of the game. Croc really knows what he needs to be able to do to carry this performance for his team. Oh. How much does that hurt?
It's a highlight reel at this stage. Doesn't care about the Storm Razor. Has gone for the rapid fire cannon as well. More range, why not? I'm sure that Katsuri really has no chance to get himself into this one, but the saving grace is he now does have the Frozen Gauntlet online. He has the core components of a Blue Ezreal. He has the utility combined with now what Claire has too, to find pick targets for both Croc as well as Tien.
So they need to
deal out
fight
the
this
damage.
dragon, and they're going in for it.
Paprise on the flank right now. Going to be so easy for Lisa to jump in there with massive spin. He can couple in right now and find a 5-man knockup. If he does so, please. Violet finds one. Now they're looking for a second. Croc in trouble. He's gone down. The Wincon suffering. Katsuri forced to disengage away. Not going to fall victim to that seismic shove. Out goes the true shot, but it will not find a true kill, as Avant can now turn their attention back towards the dragon. They will not be bullied off this time. A beautiful flank will secure them with a soul point condition.
And surprised they didn't just, you know, V-line straight towards that Baron buff there. Because they had the tank still up and available. The Smite was dead for 30 seconds, Skimmy. And they have the healing to be able to pick this up. You know, I think now a little bit too late because Thean does have teleport. But you could see it was on their mind. And I think if they had have gone there immediately, sure, they don't get soul point, but I do think they get Baron buff on a fast push comp, and I think this game is nearly over.
Definitely getting closer and closer to that mark in the game right now. Croc comes back with an Executioner's Calling. He wants to have an ability to try and shut down any of the sustain, find that pick target and make sure it connects. Unfortunately, Tien wasn't able to find a window in which he could use his ultimate that fight. We'll have that still up and available here, but it's going to be a major, major component of shutting down the all-in that either Chaz or Violet can bring to the table.
And Chaz is 2 levels ahead of Claire.
He's playing out of his mind, I'll tell you that much.
Wow! What a stage player for Avant Gaming. He's really coming up clutch in these moments.
So many fantastic moments, individual moments in the first split, but at times was unable to get the results that sort of match that merit. And, well, he's definitely coming to split 2 with a whole new lease on life, it would seem. He's playing out of his mind right now and a major benefactor of what is just being strength across the map. Paprise dominating the top side despite falling so far behind on the 1v1 to Kale. Bottom side, Violet and Appy doing absolute wonders as they go hunting once again. Top red jungle, Claire finds it, the execution is there. This is big, the jungler is gone, down for 35 seconds. Can they find more? It's a 1v1 on the bottom side. Paprise using a passive, he flashes away. It goes a 1-for-1 kill, all things considered.
How?
How is that a thing,
How does a
Spawn?
Malphite get the 1v1 kill versus a Kale at this stage of the game?
I don't even know. Fancy feet with the flashes. I don't even know. I'm lost for words, man. I've already been broken.
That's insane from Paprise. I mean, we've already said he's been instrumental in the first couple of games for Avant Gaming. Now able to come into this one 3-1-0. It's a hard counter pick coming out from Thean. Paprise standing up to the account and even gets himself just the kill trade there in the bottom lane and gets the all-important flash out of this Kale. So much pressure on Summoner's Rift.
Only flash that remains right now here for the Chiefs is that on Ezreal. That's going to be incredibly nimble as he now works towards getting that desirable luxury item, if you will, of the Death's Dance. Given that survivability, given that more important sustainability.
He's very far away from it.
But he's so far away. No, absolutely. And I mean, look, compare it to what Violet has right now. 2 completed BF sword items with extra range. You know, that weak point that you say sometimes the Caitlyn will have in the mid game, it never existed.
Yeah, I think we saw like a couple of minutes of it when they didn't want to fight the dragon. But then he turned around and killed 2 people and was like, okay, cool, I'm ready to go. So I completely agree with you. Normally when you expect it to be, you know, BF pickaxe until this stage of the game, the Caitlyn is weak, has certainly not seemed to be the case. And although Katsuri's fine now, you know, he's on 2 items, he's sitting okay. It's definitely not the parity that you want to have because as you mentioned at the start of the game, his item build is cheaper up until this point. So he wants to get here first, Skimmy.
Yeah.
And then kind of use that ability in the mid game to extend his lead. Well, he never had a lead in this game. And now he's just very far behind.
Claire has been doing a fantastic job, however, of keeping the CS difference in touching distance at just that. He's got himself the Spellbinder now, some more mobility, more chance to try and catch somebody out and deliver the damage. That has been the name of the game so far. Two attempts at that, and his ultimates have been coming in clutch right now as Tien gets back to work, very close to level 16 right now. He begins to split prestige.
I think Avant are a little bit too early on this dragon. You can see that they really want the soul, right? So much so that they were just willing to give up 3 creep waves bottom lane, and they're just going to sit themselves here in this jungle. Chiefs have the option to either split the map and go towards the Baron, or try and re-enter off a fresh shot with all of their wards available. If Avant lose control, they will lose this dragon, and with it, the game becomes very, very difficult against Gimme. This game on the knife stage, a couple of times where it looks like Avant should just win. They've kind of faltered and stalled a little bit.
Yep, they have. They've cleared out this entire side of the jungle leading to the dragon, but bear in mind there's a very deep pink ward.
I think you just rush it.
Avant's red buff. Now, what is the case here? Do Chiefs just go for a trade? You take the soul, we'll go for the Baron. We need something, or we are just bleeding objectives. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but look how quickly the dragon falls on down. I barely think they would have scratched the Baron at this stage of the game. It's down to 6k. That's going to be the cannon. That reveals down to half now. Looking at 25% as Talia looks to try and lay down the law. You're locked into that Baron pick. Can the Baron buff be achieved? Yes, it can. Kale comes in clutch. Nella looks to try and force that fight. Chaz denies so much damage there with the stopwatch. Pap rising the line. He tried to force the fight, but he gets taken out of harm's way so quickly. As now they are chasing members, and this is definitely where Chiefs comp flourishes, finding pick targets that are on the back foot. It's going to be a gentleman's agreement though, 5 for 5, no one dies.
That was a mistake by Paparazzi there, Skimmy. Maokai is one of those champions that once you're in the fight, you are incredibly tanky. But when you're out of the fight, you're not all that tanky because a lot of it is based around his passive auto attacks and how much health you get back, as well as being able to go untargetable through the W at key portions in the fight. Paparazzi had the opportunity to be able to flash forward, look for a snare there, and maybe look for something onto the end. He knew that his flash was down because he was the person that burnt it. Instead, he sat in no man's land for too long and then had to flash out. That's cost them a big opportunity. Now one of their key engage tools not going to be there. The end now with the Baron buff as well as level 16 and 3 items on this Kale has scaled into the game. That was looking like a good trade for Avant Gaming. I thought that they would be able to make it there, you know, through things like their teleport, through things like the Talia wall, but they just, you know, a little bit indecisive. And now it becomes, you know, just that battle. You have to be able to last out this buff now so that your soul is more valuable than the Baron buff. Because obviously one of the buffs lasts for the other forever and the other one doesn't.
Well, you can see what the game plan is right now. Let's get as much value as possible to even out the odds. That's going to do it. 4 turrets to 4. As the goal disparity between both AD carries is matched and made up here by the difference that Tien has over this Maokai right now. Insanely strong. The absolute dream position if you were a KO right now. How much more value can he find on the bottom side of this map? He's had to draw down 2 people to try and respond to him. As they now break open mid as well, open himself up with some wing cons towards those inhibitors. Gold lead, all said and done though here, Spawn, is actually in Chiefs' favour, given as you continue to see here, the top half of their draft are finding advantages.
Yeah, and I mean, it's that ATCS lead in the top lane and the ADCS in the jungle, right? That's what probably the gold lead is right now. Sure, they're three dragons down, and there is something to just be said of the raw numerical values that is associated to fire. Though the Chiefs did get one, so they make up some of that, because obviously the first Fire Drake is the most important one outside of the Soul Drake. We'll have a look to see whether Avant can generate any form of pick here, Skimmy, because it's starting to look pretty ugly for Paparazzi in his side lane.
We talked at great lengths, really, how much value we look to try and find with these Baron buffs. But this one is all about siege because they take down 3 turrets. But Tien is in a spot of bother right now as he gets collapsed upon. 2 members show their face. That's 2 global ultimates from the bot duo of Avant. And it is Violet who picks up the all-important shutdown. As if this guy needed any more gold. They bring themselves back in a formidable situation. Yes, they lose their turrets. Yes, the Baron buff goes down. That's more money in the pockets of Violet to continue to siege with this Infernal buff.
Yeah, and really nicely done there for Violet, being able to lend a hand by rotating into the mid lane. It looked like he was there to respond to Katsuri, but then just dips into Fog of War and able to pick up the shutdown. Once again, this Maokai is really useful in the team composition once Flash is back available, so they were just weathering the storm there. But they said enough is enough, you know, we can't give them the whole base, Skimmy. We have to be able to fight somewhere. Really respect the choice. Now they have 2 minutes until the major objectives are back up and available, and I feel like we're just going to see some ARAMs. I think the pretty League of Legends has kind of gone out the window. You know, the fast push versus the split push is kind of done and dusted now. I think that both teams probably want their strongest members, these Caitlyn's and Kales, in the mid lane, ready to just biff and try and pick up the last 2 objectives on Summoner's Rift.
We can see now that based on that shutdown gold, Violet has itemized heavily into magic resistance, so he does not fall victim to the one shot that Claire possesses currently on this Syndrome. Has picked himself up the Hex Drinker. as well as the QSS. Not going to be vulnerable to any CC. Speaking of the devil, Claire forces out the flash of Appy.
Yeah, and Appy probably was seeing it was the Frozen Mallet build, Skimmy. I know we've spoken about it a lot, but it feels so much better to play Frozen Mallet on your support center at the moment, just because it feels like you can make that mistake, eat the damage and heal yourself back up, whereas Glacial Augment may be a little bit stronger before you get the Frozen Mallet, but afterwards, certainly not the case.
I would argue it almost caters to their playstyle at this stage of we just absolutely destroy the laning phase. We get turrets, we get major advantages. We don't care really about that scaling component, the quote-unquote greedy build, if you will. But Katsuri's got himself in a nice little situation here. He's finally even out some of that deficit. He's got himself that death stance.
Yeah, he's strong now, right?
He's actually, after all things said and done, 30 minutes into this game, may now be a threat as I say that, and well, Croc, he's fallen victim once again to the absolute sheer power that Talia brings. And that magic resistance on Violet there actually kept him alive, as Clear had one target in his sights. It's going to force out a recall here.
Now 20 seconds left with both of the... Oh, Paprise!
We do this TN right now. The ultimate needs to come on out. It does indeed. Lisa in the backline going for a 1v4 dive, but so under farm right now. Can't do much but be a utility bot at this stage. Katsuri looking for the 1v3. Can he do it? We've seen him do it before. He's looking for one. He takes out Chaz. This is a big component of success right now. He jukes death, but somehow Paprise always finds these kills. I believe it was a sapling that would have picked it up at the end there. And Appy's in a lot of trouble right now. He has no flash and those orbs. They pack a punch with the Elder now online.
Okay, so Chiefs will get the Elder Dragon. 30-second death timers. Croc is going to be back up and alive. And no flash available on Lisa means that only a smite steal. Kind of the hope here, and he is going to be a level down still, Skimmy. The Chiefs, just when it looks like everything is done and dusted, you know, fighting a 4v5, still able to pull it out. Paprise back up and available. He can teleport here. There are some good flank wards. Chaz also has ultimate. They can go for this if they choose, but they're not choosing to. No. That means you probably lose both, Skimmy.
It's looking like they're going to forgive it and just say, you can have that. We feel confident in our individual strength right now, but do not ever forget the power of an Elder and a Baron. Once again, Croc with no magic resistance. I don't know if he's undervaluing it or not expecting, but look how much damage Chaz does.
Yeah, this was kind of funny because it looked like they didn't know that Lisa had used his clone. Obviously, Violet also takes all of his health and he has to base here. Hold the thought. I feel like we're going to have a bit of a biff.
There's no time for replays. We've gone from buff to buff. Baron to half as Avant actually the ones in the driving seat to start things off as they form a line of traps. You shall not pass, as they say.
And the Chiefs are saying, okay, make them respond to mid lane. This isn't necessarily a push for the inhibitor, although they will take it if it's given to them. What it more is about is, okay, now we have a clear line to go back to the Baron if we so choose.
As Flash, bear in mind right now, Chiefs are forcing their playstyle on their opponents. We're not going to fall victim to a Baron dance. No, we have an Elder. We want to utilize it. We want to force a fight. We're going to go to your inhibitor. We need some pressure taken off this map.
And now see if they stick around, Skimmy. Because they did just waste a little bit of that Elder Dragon. I feel like that inhibitor not going to be game-changing. Whereas if you had Elder and Baron in your CG inhibitor, maybe it would have been. Looks like Avant maybe want to fight this anyway.
Let's see how quickly they can do this Baron. They shredded it before, and they are shredding it again. Mid inhibitor picked up as an insurance policy, and they back themselves off, pick up the Baron, still the remnants of an active Elder. As they now turn their attention to a top wave that has been beautifully prepped for a back-to-back second inhib.
Yeah, and this is really sloppy gaming from Avant. They thought that they were actually going to base after that Baron. That's what a lot of teams in the league do. But with Elder buff still available, you should know that they're probably looking for a siege, and they're going to get themselves a second turret for free off the back end of it.
They have so much sustain between the Kayle and the Yuumi. They can sit around right now. There's a lot of adaptive force that Yuumi is providing. And that's going to be a second inhibitor that falls on down. Chaz, without that flash, is not able to play as aggressive as he would like to try and find these pick targets. Tien is going to start doing what Kayle's do, and that is 1v5 as Katsuri finally comes online and makes sure that he finds the punishment, finds the kill towards Chaz, members of Avant are collapsing. A strong early game, a stronger mid game, but it all goes so terribly wrong at 38 minutes into this one as Chiefs show discipline, they show resolve, and they're going to close things out and hand Avant their first defeat of the split.
Very interesting game there, Skimmy. Chiefs holding on for dear life will be able to pick up the victory. However, Avant Gaming with a really promising early game. And given the fact that Chiefs have now lost a game to Pentanet, being pushed by Avant, it seems that mid-section of the OPL, that, order to Pentanet, say, has shifted up slightly and is ready to challenge the top teams from last split.
An interesting situation there. A game that took a while and would have had the viewers, I'm sure, on the edge of their seats. No more than, I'm sure, Dragku, a previous player there of Avant, getting a win over his old organisation for Split 1. But that does it for that. We're going to jump to a quick break, and when we return, it's the second best of one of the day.
Today is the NeoSurf Cup, and we're going to be playing against Misfits. So hopefully we can bring home the win.
NeoSurf is simple, safe and secure. You can go to your local shop and get a voucher code and use it online, preferably to buy League of Legends skins.
It's got it! This is deadly! It's got it!
Welcome to the 2020 OPL. I am Nick Boy Richardson.
And that's a beautiful hemo play onto multiple members. He gets himself a double kill.
It's Ray's doing what he does, the team fight king.
We love everybody. We love the OPL.
If you're craving the taste of your favourites, head to Macca's for a fast, safe and contactless drive-through experience. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.